the next button is create surgical guide. So you guys are all good to go click that, and it's going to go work its magic now. Okay, guys. So everybody got a surgical guide created, right? Let's do this. Let's look at it here. So as I roll this around, this is what it should look like in the mouth. You guys see this connection here between tooth and guide? There's no space here. When you're looking in the mouth, you should not see space. If it's seated, it should be intimately adapted right around that tooth there. The other thing I want to point out is look at what the software did. If you guys notice that the guide tube got incorporated appropriately in. So that's why the outer part of the guide tube doesn't matter. It gets cut off. It's only the inner part that remains. So when I'm showing this guide tube and turning it on and off, that's what the software did. And then this bigger, broader circle here is called the brush diameter. That's that default 15 millimeters. That's for the handpiece to be able to get in there, the head of the handpiece, and not hit stuff. So that's what that cutout is. So this would be ready for printing. It's going to seat on 2 teeth. It's going to slide in. We can look at this thing in 3 dimensions. And we can print this thing and do a sleeveless insertion here. All right. Okay. So let's just say we're happy with it. We want to export it, and then we want to print it. So I'm going to bring it out of the software. So if you go up to File and Export Data, you guys remember the difference between save and export, right? Saving is a project, exporting is the STL. Thanks. All right, guys, so when you export, this computer doesn't have any exports on it. Because we haven't purchased them on this tower. When you buy these exports, you want to buy them in some number of exports, and that's where you pay for those $20 exports. The lowest price is like 20 or 25 bucks per guide, and then the more you buy, the less it costs. I typically buy them in like 5 to 10, maybe 20, and you just kind of find that price point that works for you. And you just got to buy those exports, and then you're going to use those. And each time you export a guide, it's going to use one. So when you export these, it won't let me pass this because this tower doesn't have export spot on it. But the next step is going to be you pick a file, you pick a name, and you just export it. And that's going to save the STL. And then I've already got it created. So what we would do now is here is my surgical guide finished. So now I'm going to take this into the printer. And literally I'm just going to drag it on. So let's look at this printer. This is what Ray was going over. It's as simple as just drag and drop. You're just going to take your file, surgical guide finished. You're just going to drop it onto the scene. And this is it right here, and it's sitting on there. And you guys understand what this view is right here? This metal, this gray area, that's the bottom of the build plate. It's upside down, yeah. So this would be like holding the build plate up. And this whole cube right here is the volume in which you can print an object. So you could print an object that's this big, this big, this big, anywhere in that cube. And this is obviously taking up a tiny bit of resin. If you look down here, it tells you this is how much resin it's going to use, 3 milliliters. This is the time, 32 minutes to print this. And remember, we want to hit fix, and it's going to generate supports.
Can they drag that in now to sprint?
So yeah, The only difference is, yeah, you got to go into the folder and click the finished one that I had done because we don't have exports. Yep. So everybody should be on this step, and in that folder for the case, there should be a finished surgical guide that you can just drag into Rayware right onto the screen.